The following video is part of an online course that helps with theory and standards. There's more details in the links below. PADI professionals still need to know how to use the RDP and the ERDPML, despite the fact that in today's world, new divers are more likely to learn how to use a computer to monitor the absorption and the release of nitrogen. Now, this first video concentrates only on the type of questions that you'll find regarding the background and the design of the RDP. I'll start with some of the questions here, and then I'm going to give you some really good news that you'll like. Because you're going to find questions about what you should do if you exceed your no decompression limit for more than or less than 5 minutes. There's questions about how many hours you need to wait before you can fly after diving. There's questions about altitude diving. There's questions about WXYZ rules. And there might be a question on what to do if you accidentally dive deeper than 40 meters. But let's go back to the WXYZ rules just for a moment. We know that if you end up in these high pressure groups, there are special rules that you need to follow. But this is interesting. Let's look at the table just for a moment. You can only get in these high groups by diving shallow. Look, it's only by diving to 18 meters or 60 feet or shallower that you can get into these groups. If you dive deep, you can only get into pressure groups of F or G. It just goes to show that it's time and not depth that fills up your slow tissues. And now the good news is that all of the answers to those questions can be found on your tables. On the table, they're here. And let's look at the ERDPML. If you look at the tabs on the top and click on the Rules tab, here you'll find the answers to all emergency decompression questions. Here you'll find all information about flying after diving. And here you'll find answers to the diving at altitude. And here you'll find out about WXYZ rules. Oh, and make sure that you keep these WXYZ rules in your mind for later in the exam when you're asked to plan a minimum surface interval question over a series of dives. You'll definitely get at least one question where you'll find yourself in the WXY or Z pressure group. And although the ERDPML will allow you to carry on after giving a warning, it still could lead you to giving the wrong answer. And lastly, here you'll find out what to do if you accidentally dive deeper than 40 meters. So to get back to planning, you just need to click on the Rules tab again. Let's move on to some more popular questions. I don't think that there is a PADI exam paper anywhere that doesn't have questions about how many tissue compartments were used to form the RDP. There's 14. Now, different tissues in our body absorb nitrogen at different rates. The older military tables, like the US Navy tables, was based on 6 compartments. So you definitely need to remember that there are 14 tissue compartments for the RDP and 6 tissue compartments for the US Navy tables. Now, the RDP is designed for recreational divers. The surface is never a no-go area. There's no decompression diving. Of course, military divers, they need to go deeper for longer in order to get their jobs done. Nitrogen can then really build up in their slow tissues. This all affects the amount of time that we as divers need to spend on the surface in between dives. So here we go to answers to more typical PADI questions. The RDP surface interval credit table is based on a tissue compartment of 60 minutes, while the US Navy military table is based on a much slower tissue compartment of 120 minutes. There are 2 advantages that this faster tissue compartment has for RDP users. 1 is shorter surface intervals and 2 is longer repetitive dives. So there we go. In the next video, I'm going to show you some tips on how to use the RDP and the ERDPML. But before then, as usual, I've put some questions about the design of the RDP in the next lesson. So good luck with those questions, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. So let's take a look at what's in your course. Over here on the left hand side we can see the main headings. I'm sure you can recognize these words. So they're the theory sections plus standards. Now within each of these categories we can find that there are several lessons. I think overall there's about 40 lessons, and each of those lessons are broken down into, well, either videos like this one here. And so let's take a look at some of the questions that there we go. So a video, some of these are broken down into some presentations here. So we've got like presentations.
If you haven't dived for a while,
and
what program?
We have quizzes as well. So we have questions which are very PADI type of questions. So you can see these questions here, and we've got 4 answers, just like you have on most PADI exams. The difference between this and PADI exams is the fact that if you get the wrong answer here, not only will it tell you you've got the wrong answer, but it will also give you some guidance as to what the correct answer is and why it's the correct answer. So that's great. So you can work through all of those sections, and when you have done, you'll be ready for the final mock theory exams. And we've got 5 here, A, B, C, D and E. And each of these exams is written with the same content and the same format as those exams that you're going to find on your final instructor exam. The wording of the questions, of course, isn't the same. That's not the intention. The idea is that you can understand this and teach it to others as well, if necessary. So here we've got a mock exam, 5 different subjects, 12 questions in each subject, just like you'll find on the IE. You can work through all 5 exams and you can mark them yourself. Here's the answer key. When we move on to standard exams, we've got the same. You can see that we've updated these like the theory ones as well. These are 2021, so all of these are going to be answers you can find in the latest PADI instructor manual. So once again, we have exams structured exactly the same as you'll find on your final instructor exam. So work through these and answer those. And when you've done that, you can mark your own. Here we go. Now you can mark your answers. And not only have we got the right answer, but because the standard exam, the whole point of a standard exam is that you know where to find things in the manual. It's not necessary to know everything about an instructor manual in your own head. You do need to know where to find the answer. And to help you here, every single question that we've got where you can find it in the latest 2021 instructor manual. So here, like this, for example, this you'll find in the linking courses section on page 43. So that's the structure of this program. It's a lot of fun working through it. I'm looking forward to working with you. And when you're ready, we can start the first lesson, which is, of course, everybody's favorite, physics. Look forward to seeing you there.